Let's have a look at AMD Stock Technicals. What's happening with this name? From all-time highs of $164 at the moment, trading at 108. So it is certainly at the moment in a downtrend. If you look at the, if you just measure from this high of when it was December high of a 164 to 108, stock is down about 30 something percent. Let me measure exactly just to be sure how much it's down currently from its highs. 34%. All right. And if you switch to different time frames, you're gonna see different things. But before we do that, before we jump to anything else, I just want to show what I'm watching in terms of support resistance right here, right now. So sellers have been here anywhere above 120. Sellers have been showing up. So 120, 125 range, that has been a resistance, and then $100 has been a support. So do you think that it will test $100 and then it will start? Because April seasonality chart, if you look at it, it's usually strong for Q2 as well. I will show you on a different time frames just a second, but let's take a look at the moving averages. If you look at the moving averages, there's a little bit of a different signal here, which is yellow line 50-day crossing below 200-day, which is red line, bearish crossover. So a lot of people call it death cross, and I haven't tracked all of these occurrences when this happened, how stocks usually perform, but this is just a bearish signal. But for me, actual bearish signal for AMD would be if it slips $100. If it slips $100, I'm watching $90 as a support and then $75 as a support. All right. And also, why do I think that it can maybe possibly, before trying to push higher, if we're going to see real overall market correction, AMD has these gaps what it created last year, 2020, the gaps to the upside, which wasn't filled yet, which is somewhere here after earnings from 62 to 64 and then 70 to 75. But again, these are in case of extreme sell-off volatility. But in terms of seasonality, I'm going to show you a different chart here. Year to date, what it has been doing right now, right here. So, okay, let's take a look at the monthly chart. If you look at the monthly chart, well, strong months were October, November, and in 2 months, it pretty much wiped out. We tried to bounce in February, wiped out in March. April just started. So just by looking at this year's, these 3 candles, 3 months, it's looking bearish to me right here, right now. But if I switch to a quarterly chart, you're gonna see totally different thing here. So look how it did last year. It started just like this. January, big negative, right? This drop is about year to date. AMD is down about 25%. But last year, 2021, Q1 was negative as well. It did drop around 14%. From its highs, it dropped like 20 something percent. So similar. And then Q2 recovered all those losses, pushed higher, and then Q4 even pushed really high. So if you think that this stock can Q2 recover at least half of this drop, and then Q3, basically summertime, everybody's gonna go out and we're gonna have a slow melt up in overall market, Q4 can be really strong. It can definitely take out all-time highs and maybe even push towards 200. I don't know, but they have earnings coming up, so I'm basically waiting until earnings. But if it does sell off before earnings to $100 levels, I will give it a shot. So I will try to go long at those levels with options, maybe just short term. But until then, it's pretty much in the middle of nowhere to try to play this to the long side or even to the short side, because short side, I mean, there's not much of a room to the downside and there's not much of a room to the upside. So basically risk reward 50-50 both to the upside from here and to the downside, because it's at 108, resistance 120, support $100. So I mean, $8 to the downside if you bet against it, $12 to the upside if you try to push, try to go long. But I would rather try to go long around these $100 levels, because if I look at the quarterlies as well, it has been support right here. But if it does slip $100, I do think that it can go all the way to the $75 levels slowly. But if you look at this quarterly charts, well, it has done it all the time. Negative in the beginning of the year, 3 quarters rips. Negative in the beginning of the year, 3 quarters rips. Basically, it has done it at least last 2 years where their fundamentals have been increasing. But again, all depends what they are gonna report. If they report good Q2 earnings, you may see similar pattern, but I just don't want to go too far with this video because I will be updating this stock for sure. But short term, that's what I'm looking at, and long term, this is what I'm looking at. And year to date, if you look at it, if you try to compare it to S&P 500, yes, year to date, just like I said, it's down 20 something percent, 25%. And if you look at the S&P 500, it's down 4%. But another thing is that last year it did beat the market if you look at it that way. So it did produce 55% gain while S&P 500 produced 26%, I think. So do you think that it is able to recover all of these losses and go higher? Well, that take your shot. Or again, it's not a advice, but that's pretty much if I see this strong, if I see this stock strong in Q2 and try to recover at least more than half of this gains, to me, I think it can just push higher from here. So, but that's just my opinion. I'm just a random guy on YouTube. Thanks for watching. This is AMD recap. We haven't done it in a while, but take care. See you in the next one.